Okay, Chaturi.
Good morning, Bante.
Okay.
Good morning,
Good
Bante.
morning, Bante.
Good morning.
Morning, Bante.
Good morning. You have any questions so far?
I don't see anything in the chat at this point, Bante.
Okay.
Let me give it one more minute because it's only 10. Give people a chance to post their questions.
Okay. Let's see if any. Hmm. We wait any message, everyone.
Actually, there's no more. There's not a question. There is one question now.
Okay.
Dear Bante, I remember once you recommended that while doing mindfulness of breathing, one should focus as much as one can on the mere sensation of the breath entering and leaving the body, because feeling is the least complicated of the mental aggregates and so likely to help one's concentration. Is my memory correct? So is
Yeah.
it that you should focus more on mindfulness of breathing, focus on the as much as one can, the sensation of the breath entering and leaving the body, because its feeling is easier as a mental aggregate to work with. Is that correct?
Right. That is correct. That is correct. Because when you breathe in, you certainly feel the breath. And therefore, it is easy for you to start focusing mind on the feeling. That feeling also changes as you breathe in. First, you feel it at the tip of your nostrils, then you feel in your lungs area, then you feel at the lower abdomen, and while you are breathing out, again you feel the contraction of lower abdomen and pushing the air from the lungs. Then you see the lungs also are contracting, and then you see the breath leaving your nostrils. So this in the sutta says, knowing the entire breath body, sabbakaya patisangvedi. So you feel the breath. So it is easy for you to see the impermanence of the breath. Yes, what you said is correct. Yeah?
The next question is the Asura realm below or above the human realm?
Asura realms is above human realm because they are semi-god and therefore they are above human realms. Remember in Dhatagga Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, there was, even in Sanguttara Nikaya, there was a mythological fight between Asura and Sura. So Sakka said to Asura, the Sura, Devas, if they have fear or trembling during the fight, war, to look at Sakka's King of Gods flag. But when they see that, their fear will disappear. If they don't, if the fear doesn't disappear, then they ask you to see the four other deities in 4 directions and so forth. Then the Buddha said, no, while looking at, when you look at the king of gods, Shaka's flag, or the other asuras, other 4 divine beings' flags, your fear, trembling does not disappear, because king of gods also is with greed, and therefore his mind is not very clear. The flag that represents his mind, therefore, will not make your fear disappear. Instead, you look at the Buddha, remember the Buddha, and then your fear will disappear. If you don't, if fear doesn't disappear, think of the Dhamma. If then your fear doesn't disappear, look at the Sangha. However, you can overcome your fear by remembering the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, because Buddha Dhamma Sangha are totally free from greed, hatred, and delusion. And therefore, so in that discourse and so on, the asuras have the fight with the asura, devas. Human beings are below them, therefore they don't have any fight with deities. So anyway, asura realms is above human realms. Okay, next question.
The next question is, dear Bhante, will meditating on the elements make you feel less metta towards all beings, since you see them as just elements?
I see. You see, yesterday I mentioned when you practice mindfulness of the 4 elements, I quoted Mahahati Padma Sutta. There, if you practice that, the sutta also quoted the Kakachupama Sutta, the discourse on the simile on the sword. So, and then if you don't overcome your resentment, when somebody is accusing you, insulting you, then you will see, you must understand that this insult and accusation is mere words. This has no substance. And therefore you practice metta. Surely your metta will be become active when you practice the elements, because elements are the common factor of all living beings, and they themselves don't have any greed, hatred, and delusion. It is very easy for you to practice metta when you practice mindfulness of the elements. Okay?
Good morning.
The next question is, okay. Devante, please give some advice on how to be mindful of anger. It is so quick to arise. I am better at letting go afterwards once I am aware, but I still cannot catch it on time. Thank you, Bante.
Okay. Yes, actually, this is why we must remain mindful all the time. As anger is arising, we can become aware of that. In uh, when Rahulava Sutta, Buddha said when one before one speak, one must think. While speaking, one must think. After spoken, one must think whether the words hurt others hurt or not. And therefore, when you remain mindful, you will not let anger arise in your mind because you remain mindful all the time. Even if it arises, unguarded very quickly, then immediately you can get rid of it. Surely, of course, after arisen, you can notice the impact of anger. And before that, if possible, you try to remain mindful all the time. Then it may not be uh, difficult for you to overcome or stop it arising. That's what we say prevention from getting angry is much better than trying to overcome it after arisen. When it arises, it pervades all your mind, and therefore it will be it takes much longer time to overcome. Before it arises, if you can prevent it from arising through the mindfulness practice, then it will be easy for you to remain without getting angry. Most of the time people get angry for even very tiny little thing because they don't remain mindful. I think therefore it is much better to start it before practice mindfulness before anger rises. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, today people celebrate Mother's Day. Could you please tell us the best way we could pay respect and thank our parents?
I think that is also a good question. In the Buddha's teaching, we practice Mother's Day every day. Every day is Mother's Day, not only once a year, because mother is living with you. Any moment you can practice Mother's Day. In the Karaniya Metta Sutta, we practice Mātājatha Niyam Puttang. Aisha Ekaputta Manurakke. Just as a mother protects her only child, one practice mindfulness, practice loving friendliness meditation. So, loving kindness meditation, Buddha says, whether sitting, standing, walking, lying down, whenever awake, one should practice mindfulness, this mindfulness of loving friendliness. When we practice mindfulness of loving friendliness, every day, every moment, mother includes there. Therefore, our Mother's Day, Father's Day, we don't keep one day separately. And when people don't do that, I think it is better at least once a year to remember the parents, mother or father. I think in the Buddha's teaching is you do it every day, not only one particular day. Okay?
The next question is, dear Bhante, what is your advice to a young person to get over addiction if he is not, if he does not understand the harm that it does? So your
I think
advice to overcome addiction.
I think that is also a good question these days. Some young people get involved in drugs and they destroy their mental health and they destroy their sometimes family unity, family harmony, and they destroy their social harmony, and therefore they must avoid taking drugs from very young days. Especially this is sort of social evil now because people, adults, want to make money and they use children as drug distributors, and then eventually they might get little money, and therefore they become victims of these adults who are already addicted to drugs. And therefore, um, especially parents must be very careful to protect their children from using drugs. I think it is very important for parents to remember to protect their own children. They don't want to destroy their life, and therefore, and children don't know that. Children don't know that, and therefore, it is the adults who must take care of children and keep an eye on them. And if they see them using drugs, even once, they immediately must advise them, consult professional people, and make them free from addiction from even the beginning, before they become addicted to drugs. At the very beginning, nip in the bud so that they can protect children. I think that is my very sincere advice to parents. Okay?
Thank you, Bante. I don't see another question right now. Let me check the list. What did you want to ask?
Can you tell about the difference between Vipassana jhana and Shamatha jhana?
Can you tell the difference, Bante, between Samatha jhana and Vipassana jhana?
Samatha jhana and vipassana jhana. Samatha jhana, when you practice tranquility meditation, you gain samatha jhanas, first, second, third, fourth, and so on. And that is called samatha jhana. Vipassana jhana is when you practice vipassana meditation, you gain a degree of concentration. For instance, vipassana meditation is seeing impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and selflessness. Then you see this, then you gain very powerful degree of concentration, and therefore you develop concentration. So you see, samatha pubbanga vipassana, vipassana pubbangama samatha, yuganadha. When you base your concentration, when the vipassana is your base, and for gaining concentration, it is called vipassana jhana. If the base is concentration, and then you gain vipassana knowledge, and still it is called samatha jhana. So it is a matter of the basis of your practice, foundation. Okay. Next question.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, dear Bhante, can you please advise us on how to forgive? Is it exactly the same thing as letting go and reflecting on impermanence? Or should one think of the person who harmed you and send them metta?
Okay. You see, in order to practice what you call the habit of letting go of forgive, you must practice patience. Patience. When you practice patience, you need mindfulness. With mindfulness, you practice patience. Letting go is actually my what you call forgiveness is you let it go. And remember, sometimes you think somebody does something offensive to you, and at that time you don't be very quick to react in anger. You just ignore it, ignore. And then if the person repeats the same offensive thing, then you must understand that the person may have his or her own problem. Maybe the person is not well, maybe the person may have some family problems, maybe the person may have economic, financial problem, or something like that. Something like that might have caused him to lose his temper and say something offensive. So at that time, it is very good for you first to let go and have patience and practice metta for that person. I think that is very good way of dealing with uh, offensive uh, action of somebody. I think that is very good way. Okay?
Thank you,
Next.
Bhante. Next question is, what's your advice if children run away from home? They run away from their mother and the family through no fault of the parents, and they basically shun the parents. They don't call back, they ignore text messages, and the parents would like to protect the children, but there is no communication anymore. What's your advice to sort out a situation like that?
I think that is also very important practical questions. Why children run away from parents? Uh, because parents themselves have problems. Sometimes parents divorce, and after divorcing, they remarry. New partner of mother may not be so kind to children or from a previous marriage, and therefore they may ill-treat these children, beating and abusing and scolding and so forth, not giving them what they need at that age, and so forth. They will be ill-treated, and then they run away from their parents. And therefore, the problem remains not with the children. Children always need some guidance, or parents' guidance, parents' kindness, parents' protection, and parents' advice. And therefore, the problem lies with parents. And therefore, I think children, if they are protected and they take care of children, then they don't run away. Secondly, if the parents, even if it is one parent family, either mother or father, if they were alcoholics, drug addicts, and so forth, they can abuse children, and then they run away from the family. So therefore, the problem is always, I think, is with the parents. Sometimes some children may be born with some mental illness, and then again, parents must take care of them, take them to professional people, psychologists, psychoanalysts, psychiatrists, and child care centers, and so forth, and get proper treatment. These things they must do to prevent children from running away from homes. Because they are underage, their brain is not very fully, completely developed until they become adults, until they become at least 25, 28. Child psychologists must tell you what age the child brain is totally grown and developed. Until such time, their decisions are not the right decision, and therefore, with wrong decision, they can run away. So parents have to keep an eye on them to see how their growth is. And therefore, this is my personal advice when I observe the society, when I hear various things from various parents, I can understand the problem will be solved by the parents. Okay, next question.
Thank you, Bante. Dear Bante, yesterday you said that consciousness arises at each moment. However, we have accumulations, for instance, asawas, kilesas, bojangas from previous intentional actions, which imply there is an accumulation, implying current actions are influenced by past patterns. Not all actions arise from the pure luminous awareness. Can you please clarify this? Thank you.
Okay. All actions does not arise from the pure luminous awareness. Of course, consciousness arises depending on the senses and sensory objects. It happens any moment, each moment. Each moment we encounter our senses come in contact with sensory objects. Like eyes, visual objects come together, consciousness arises. Chakuncha paticca rupecha upadi chakku vijnana. Buddha said, eyes are visual objects coming together arises consciousness. Similarly, ear, sound coming together, ear consciousness. The nose, smell, nose consciousness. Tongue, taste, taste consciousness, tongue consciousness. Body, tangible, body consciousness. Mind, mental object, mind consciousness. You can see in the Maha Dukkha Kanda Sutra, whenever Sati said this consciousness coming, consciousness is repeating from life to life, life to life. Same consciousness runs. And the Buddha reprimanded him and said, whom have you heard me telling this consciousness run from life to life? And he gave example when the fire start from straw is called straw fire. When house is on fire, it is called house fire. When cow dung fire starts from cow dung fire, it is called cow dung fire, and so forth, depending on the material that helps for fire to arise. Fire is named by that name. Similarly, when eye and visual objects arises, it's called eye consciousness. So it is arises, consciousness arises, always new consciousness arises, and it immediately passes away. And when eye consciousness is there, and when you close, we hear the sound, then sound consciousness arises. And then we smell nose consciousness, and so forth. And therefore, consciousness itself does not accumulate, but karma, that's called cumulative karma. Karma that we commit again and again, it can be accumulated. And Vijnanam bijam, kammam kettam, vijnanam bijam, kamma, kamma kettam, vijnanam bijam, tanna sinaya. So in the seed is, the karma is the field, consciousness is the seed, and this is moisture, water to survive, to grow the plant. Similarly, consciousness is rising moment by moment. Okay? Previous intentional action is called karma, which implies there is an accumulation, surely, accumulation of karma, implying current action are influenced by the past patterns, surely. Not all actions arise from the pure luminous awareness. No, that is true. And therefore, what you mentioned there is correct. Okay? I think that may be all we can do today. And we also need sometimes to meditate. So let us do that right now. Okay? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let us meditate now. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor disperse anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will, should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so, towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate all the world, a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this, we have almost 25 minutes to meditate. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish. May I join always with the wise until the time I attain Bhavana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be, from the highest realm of existence to the lowest. May all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let me share my metta with all. May all those who are in hospitals suffering from various diseases, may they recover soon, return to normal health, and practice meditation, understand Dhamma, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those doctors, nurses, hospital staffs also find time to practice meditation, understand Dhamma, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who have lost their loved ones may still be grieving, and may they liberate themselves from grief, understanding the nature of Dhamma, practicing mindfulness, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in trouble with sports, war zones, discrimination, poverty-stricken, also try to find the nature of greed, hatred, and delusion, and remove their own greed, hatred, and delusion, and practice mindfulness meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in the northern direction, northeastern direction, eastern direction, southeastern direction, southern direction, southwestern direction, western direction, northwestern direction, up and down, all of them be well, happy, and peaceful. May they all practice mindfulness meditation and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. Friends, that's all we can do today, this morning. And as I said, at 3 o'clock today, we have this regular Dhammapada class. If you like to join, it'll be useful to you. I hope you join that too. Okay? Bye.
Thank you so much, Bante. Tiruvan Saranai. Make it well.
Thank you. Tuhan Saranai Bante.
Everyone saranai.
Make it well, Bante.
Okay?
Thank you, Bante.